let me tell you about Edge of Eternities. I cannot tell all the way to space.
I just had to get that one out of my system, and then we're good.
All right, so last week we posted a giveaway for our 500 subscribers, and today I'm announcing that Love Puzzles 8516, you are the winner of our giveaway. You've got a Duskmorn Nightmare Edition bundle coming your way. Let's go ahead and get on with the episode.
Well, if it isn't John Kendall of the MTG Thoughtcast, once again coming to us for another episode. How you doing, John?
Hello, we're back at it again with another Futuresight. Prepare to dive into the scrying bowls with me as we look into potential universes beyond our understanding.
Baby. Dude, my jaw is unhinged. I'm ready to drink from the fire hose that WotC is throwing my way. Good to be here. I'm Joseph Rubino. I'm your other host of the MTG Thoughtcast. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks for clicking on the video. Before we dive into all of today's topic, which is going to be the next year of Magic product that's got released, we just had MTG, MagicCon Las Vegas? Is that what it's called?
MagicCon Vegas is where these panels were, yes.
MagicCon Vegas, all these panels. We know about the next year now, and we're going to give you our thoughts, as this is the Thoughtcast. If you've got some thoughts about it, you can join our Discord down below, and you can let us know all that you think about the universes beyond, which is the new normal. Not to give too many spoilers. Jump into our Discord. We play Magic games there all the time. We give deck building advice. It's a great place to come and hang. It's a very positive community focused around enjoying this game that we love so much. While you're down there, if you're not subscribed to us, you totally should subscribe to us. We just crossed over the threshold of 500, and we are so grateful. But we want to see this thing keep going. So jump down, subscribe. While you're there, just hit all the other buttons. It's not going to matter, I promise. It matters a ton to us. It's going to matter very little to you. Just hit all the buttons. It'll be great. And then we can move on with the episode. And that's us. That's all of the upkeep that I have the energy for. John, it's about to be a new year. We're looking forward.
Getting there.
It's another great year of Magic the Gathering. And we've been told some insight into the future. We've surveilled, we've scried, whatever you want to call it. Perhaps we've manifested dread.
What was that one on that one sliver? It looked at the top card. Was that I should know this.
Fate Seal, perhaps?
Fate Seal, yes.
That's when you look at your opponent's library.
Yeah.
Did I out-oracle you?
A little bit, yes. Sorry.
Dang. I only know Fate Seal because of Jace the Mind Sculptor. Because that's one
that's what I was going to say, but it's not like Fate Seal on him, you know? It's not, it's worded like that.
Important ability.
Exactly, yeah.
We found out a lot that's going on, and you and I have some feelings about it that may or may not be the same. A lot of people online have some feelings about it, so why not add our voices in there?
Yeah, it's been an interesting collection of feels. So yeah, we should probably just get diving right into this. So
Let's do it, man.
For some context, for anybody who may not know exactly what we have going on about, at time of recording yesterday, probably as you see this video or listen to it on our Spotify, which we appreciate you as well. Thank you for being here.
Shout out.
A week-ish or so, or give or take, MagicCon Vegas was going on, and two of the very important panels that they were showcasing with some special guests or whatever was the what they called this one, the Foundations of Magic's Future Era or something stupid like that. And then an actual like preview panel for Foundations, the Magic set itself. We'll be talking about that a little bit later on. But what we're talking about today is going to be the Future Insight into 2025 panel. And this one was kind of an interesting case scenario. If anybody who has been with us long term, or if you're interested to see it back before, we've done one of these Futuresight episodes before last year. It was the 2024.
About a year ago.
It was the 2024 Futuresight. And that one was unique in the sense that last year was the 30th game anniversary. So they kind of gave us teaser, little snippet information on what we could have expected going into 2025.
Right.
This panel that happened at MagicCon Vegas. Vegas.
Vegas.
Valgavoth the Vegas.
MagicCon vegan.
Love that. So this panel in specific gave us some more in-depth detail. Nothing catastrophically like groundbreaking as far as cards or mechanics and things like that. What we have learned more or less is sort of the planned release schedule and in-depth names and themes about some of the booster product we have coming up for this upcoming year.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really interesting. It's really cool stuff here. So we need to get started right into that. So let's get started.
Sure.
Beginning with one of the first things coming out for the remainder of this year. This was also stuff that was talked about during this panel as well. The remainder of stuff happening this year and the things that are going into the forward. So the first thing talked about is a little bit more in-depth about what Foundations is going to be. Magic Foundations, coming out on November 15th this year, a standard legal set that is going to remain in the standard format until at least 2029 and maybe pushed later than that.
So just let's finish talking about it and then we can talk about thoughts on this.
Exactly. Yeah, sure. It has a design philosophy behind it that is going to be talked about essentially the ideal starting point. Like this is going to this booster product is promoting itself to be the jump-in place if you are a new player, if you're looking to teach somebody how to play, or you're looking to start a collection. They're designing it to be this place because
it's sort of the replacement for core sets, which we haven't had in a long time.
It's apparently talked about even being more grand than a core set. They talked about in design about this that core sets were getting themselves replaced year in and year out. So even those were not a block standard. They're driving home to this point that they want Foundations to be modern alpha. Like this is the set. This is the place that you put people to get started playing. This is Magic. Yes. The product as a whole is being contained with both reprint cards and brand new cards. I have a few of them showcased here, actually, like a new Niv Mizzet.
Very good Niv Mizzet. Let's talk about it real quick. So it's four blue and a red for a 5/5 with flying, as we've seen on Niv Mizzet before. Obviously, it's a legendary dragon wizard. It has flying. It says you have no maximum hand size, and whenever a creature you control deals non-combat damage to an opponent, you draw that many cards.
It's actually when a source deals non-creature damage non-combat damage. Yep. Yep. No, it's super cool. They even made it a point during the panel to say that Niv Mizzet combos with Niv Mizzet.
Yeah, it's so good. If you play the one that when you draw a card, it deals a damage to something, it will create it's the curiosity loop with Niv Mizzet.
You get to do the Spider-Man meme of Niv
for
looking
only
at Niv.
low cost of 12 mana, you get to win the game. Yeah, very cool. It looks great.
Yep, that's a card coming in the main booster product for Foundations itself, and then Foundations is being launched alongside with all kinds of other supplementary pieces that you can acquire and grab with it, like a beginner learning kit, a starter collection kit. We've just been seeing today, actually, some new stuff for Jumpstart. Bundles, collector boosters, all the works. So Foundations is going to be really, really cool. And we will be cycling back around to talking about why Foundations is going to be important later when we discuss the actual timeline of 2025. But
yes,
I do really think that this is going to be a very, very cool place to get people started into the game.
Definitely. And I'm so torn on this because I see both sides of it, where like Standard was kind of one of the last rotating formats. So what they've kind of done is they've said like, there's a big piece of Standard that doesn't rotate anymore, which is a double-edged sword because it's now going to, in theory, be less of an investment into constantly updating your decks. So it probably is going to give people more incentive to play Standard if it doesn't rotate as often, or if the cards from Foundations become important enough to where like, oh, I know that if I buy 4 Niv Mizzets, I'm going to play those until 2029, that kind of thing.
At least in Standard, yeah.
Yeah. At the same time, it just feels like they're kind of throwing arbitrary numbers around for what standard is, and it just sets a precedent that there's no standard to what standard is going to be. So I think that I would just like to get off the roller coaster of we change standard every 2 years. Like, we just got told that it is now 3-year rotations rather than 2-year rotations. And now they're like, oh, by the way, here's this set that doesn't rotate. And now every other set is going to rotate every 3 years. And like, it just like, there's no solid foundation to what they're doing. They're just teeing me up for all of these analogies right now.
But yeah,
the other thing that I think is really important is if they're kind of caught between a rock and a hard place with this, where like if they boost the power level too much, then something becomes too oppressive and it's not going to rotate out, which means they're going to have to ban things. So they're going to have to be really tough on bannings for this non-rotating set, or they're going to have to underpower it to the point where it doesn't matter in standard. So I think I would have rathered them just keep with Jumpstart, like being its own thing as sort of the intro format. Like, we just get a new Jumpstart every year that's not even standard legal. We don't even care about it being standard legal. It's just a very low power entryway into Magic. I also understand how that's not a perfect entryway, but it just feels like they're messing with standard too much to me. I used to love playing standard. I can't anymore. Like, I do on Arena, but I would never buy a standard deck in paper again, just because they're showing, like, I can't trust that they're not going to just completely mess with it halfway through a standard season, you know?
Yeah, that makes 100% sense. Absolutely. I agree with most all of your points on that regard. There's something I'm very curious to see what ends up happening with Foundations as far as like a physical product when it comes to purchasing this thing in paper, in person, at a store. How long is this going to be in print? Like,
well, it'll have to be in print for the entire time that it's in standard. So this is probably going to be something that
you would think that.
Well, there's no way it's not going to be. There's no way they say this is the foundation of standard and then pull it from print. Like, it's going to be in print as long as stores keep ordering it. And that's the important part there is, like, are stores really going to order this and keep stock of it?
It depends how it sells. I think it depends how it sells. And like 2 years from now, when people stop buying it, is it profitable to keep it on the printing press?
Right.
According to Hasbro, probably not.
This is where we're going to find out whether they're actually doing this for the good of the format or whether they're just doing it for profits. Because if they pull it, then like all of this is just bullcrap. And they're just like giving us a set that we're going to have to pay a ton of extra money for 3 years from now because it's still in rotation and still important, but they're not printing it anymore. And so I think my guess is that this is going to be something that's going to be in print for the entire time that it's in standard. They'll probably just update it once a year and sort of force WPN stores to at least keep a little bit of it on their shelves for the remainder of the time that it's in standard, which is both good and bad for LGSs because that's another product that they have to buy and sit on shelves. At the same time, if it's underpowered, that's gonna be a bad thing. If it's properly powered and they've actually play tested this set enough to the point where like people do consistently want this, it is going to be an important foundation of standard and is not going to be overpowered to the point where it gets banned. This is actually a really cool move for the LGS and incentivizes them to continue to order it.
Yeah, I hope this does well, you know, like it's such an unprecedented thing of how they're making this booster product come out with all this other supplementary things that you can buy along with it. I hope it does well. And I do hope, again, we probably at time at this video going out, it's probably has been previewed. We have not seen any of these things yet, but like, I hope there's fun stuff for us, for people who don't play standard. You know, we've seen some of the some of the
they're going to design for Commander. They like Wizards is allergic to designing things for formats other than Commander.
Right. Well, there's no precons that come with this set, so it's just going to be like, you know,
precons.
There's no precons with it. So it's going to be whoever's in the booster and whoever's in part of the Jumpstart. That's where they can start juicing some of the legendary creatures in the Jumpstart product.
For sure.
Okay, but we got to move on. We were on Foundations a little bit longer than I thought we were going to, but it's still
an important one. Yeah,
it is. It's quite important. But on the subject of talking about getting things juiced, another release that is happening still this year is going to be on Arena for the Pioneer Masters. drop is going to happen. They have essentially, this is the release product that they were talking about, that is going to be a collection of cards that brings Arena's availability of cards up to, they said, 99% fidelity of 1-to-1 with Paper Pioneer.
Dope.
And when this product comes out, Explorer, that is currently on Arena, will become renamed Pioneer.
Right, so we're basically phasing out Explorer. It's going to be Pioneer, which Explorer was non-alchemy sets on Arena. So this is now going to 100% mirror the sort of modern light format of Pioneer.
Yep, basically. And that's super cool. I mean, I guess don't really have much more to say other than that. It's just for all of our Pioneer friends out there, you know, congratulations. You've got yourselves.
I know that there is dozens of you guys out there. So
dozens of you. Yeah, no, seriously. I mean, it's going to be really, really cool. It also will be like implementing some other cards for us Brawl people as well. Though, like,
that's what I'm excited about.
That's going to be cool releases as well.
The closer that we can get to actually having Commander on Arena, the more I get excited about playing it.
So let's move into, before we start talking about the actual booster products itself, let's go over some of the quick things that they had mentioned that is going to be changing as far as Magic structure that they talked about going to. And this is important going into the booster products that we're about to talk about. One of the big ones that they said is that Universes Beyond booster products, the ones you can get as booster sets, they're legal in all formats going forward now. So that is standard legal Universes Beyond, of which yearly releases of the standard products now are half and half of Magic IPs and Universes Beyond.
Yes,
Let's talk about it.
Why don't you start?
Yep. I think this is a choice that they have certainly done. There's a very, very thin blanket here that is veiling the fact that this is money for the sake of money. They have made no secret in sharing that Universes Beyond has been far and beyond their expectations on profits. Profit margin. And course. I get it that, not every company is a money grubber. You know what I mean? But they have been very upfront and public about this, is that people like Universes Beyond. I actually even just saw a thing this afternoon before we got started here that Mark Rosewater said on a post specifically that Universes Beyond has been more profitable for them than even they foresaw. And it was better for new player jump in, also further beyond their expectations. So it makes sense from a business standpoint of, okay, what's working? Let's double down on that.
Totally.
Does that make us, people who love the sort of like lore and flavors and feels of Magic universes, does it make us feel like we're kind of getting the shaft a little bit? Maybe.
Of course it does, because they even announced that they were pushing back the return to Lorwyn to include a currently, at time of recording, unannounced another Universes Beyond product. So they literally are shifting their own IPs back further so that they can do more Universes Beyond. And this is only a few short years after they assured us that Universes Beyond would stay separate. They assured us that it would only be Universes Beyond every once in a while. And they assured us that Universes Beyond would never be standard legal. So, like, again, it goes back to the changes in standard, where it's like they've just gone back on everything that they've said. So it's so hard to trust that Wizards as a company is doing anything other than just profiteering themselves. Like, they have very little interest in the health of formats, to be honest. This is my criticism of this right now. They're purely focused on being the only column that keeps Hasbro afloat. I mean, even last week, again, at time of recording, during a shareholders meeting with Hasbro as a company is down 5%, but Magic as an IP is up 15%. That doesn't make any sense. There's no reason why the parent company of this wildly successful game should be propped up by this. It's exclusively living to serve the shareholders of Hasbro. This is me being completely in favor of WotC should just spin off into its own company at this point, or WotC should be running Hasbro. Like, it should not be this other way around, where a failing company that consistently delivers drops in their net shares is being exclusively held up by a fan service game now. Like, it's the Fortnite-ification of Magic the Gathering is what's happening. Like, it's only about collabs, it's only about different IPs, and I, for one, am really disappointed by this. Like, I got into Magic because, not exclusively, but like part of what I fell in love with the game with was the art style and the individual IPs of it. It was this high fantasy game when I got into it, where it was these beautiful cities of Ravnica that I'd never seen before. And it was all of these like wonderful landscapes of these new worlds and new characters to fall in love with. And now it's like, okay, there's these characters that I love and they're being crammed into the box of Magic. And there's part of it that I love as well, because like when you think about being a kid and you dig in your toy box, you're like, oh yeah, like Darth Vader is going to be fighting He-Man today. Like, that's dope. Like, that's so sick. You just blend all of the IPs in your imagination. So there's part of it that's really cool to me. That's like the 10th Doctor can be fighting alongside Megatron, like or Optimus Prime. There's cool bits about that remind me of being a kid, but I know that that's not the intention of it. Like, I'm gaslighting myself into like enjoying something that they're spoon feeding me at this point.
Yeah, no, I agree on that. It's like, obviously, like with how big of a game Magic is, this kind of inevitability of like, okay, we've been running this game for so long, we need some more juice thrown in here. And it just logically makes sense, again, from business standpoints of
Totally.
like, okay, where are the breadcrumbs leading us? Oh, people love and it's, what's the design going with here? It's like people have been ripping out on the MCU for this kind of same idea, as well as like, let's drop the nostalgia things in here to get them to like these things, right? Like, ooh, did you want to see all your favorite Spider-Men in one film? Here you go. Here they are. Look at all these cameos. Look at all these cameos we put in Doctor Strange. Ooh, it's Professor X. Wow. Deadpool and Wolverine was a very good example of this as well. Like, ooh, look at all of these failed Fox movie friends that you thought you liked and now you think they're cool again. You know what I mean? It's that kind of thing happening right now. It's like, ooh, I remember Spider-Man, you know, I remember Final Fantasy, you know, I thought Warhammer was cool. Doctor Who.
Totally.
You know what I mean? Ghostbusters. Neat. And like,
right. But is it coming at the detriment of the long-term health of the game? And that's just yet to be seen. Like, I think right now I'm cautiously optimistic because I'm like glad to see a game that I love doing well. Like, whatever that takes, like as long as they don't stop making Magic, that's kind of where I'm at with it. Like, sure, I'm in it for the long run. I've already been playing this game for 14 years or whatever. Like, I'm not going to stop anytime soon. So like, I'm also not really complaining about this because it means that there's now a booster shot of Magic just injected into it that's going to keep it going for a bit. But is that going to wear off soon, or is that something that's going to carry it across the finish line, you know?
Yeah.
Hard
Well,
to tell.
Speaking of finish lines, we should probably get started talking about some of these actual booster products itself, and we will start with a Magic IP one. Again, talking about this. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I forgot where I was on my slides. Let's briefly talk about Innistrad Remastered, and then we'll talk about Aether Drift.
Also, a great Magic IP that I'm excited to see return.
Yes, I completely forgot this was up here. So yeah, we are now talking about 2025 at this point now. We're talking about the actual booster releases that they shared with us are coming. Innistrad Remastered, coming in January 25th, is going to be a greatest hits collection of all of the Innistrad sets and assorted outside media, or like outside supplementary sets like Commander and Jumpstarts and things like that, whatever, of some of Commander, or not Commanders, they're Commanders in here, but Innistrad's greatest hits. One of their big highlight showcases here as well is this super fancy serialized Edgar Markov, who is in the booster set normally, as is as well. They made this abundantly clear. You can get Edgar finally in non-foil. This set might finally
I didn't
drop.
realize that.
Yeah, Edgar had never been available in non-foil before. He has had two printings before this, his original Commander one and a Judge Gift promo. Both of those were foil.
Yeah.
So this booster will be his first time in non-foil in a regular frame, in a retro frame, and a vampire showcase frame. alongside this fancy serialized one as well, which they're calling this treatment now, by the way. This is new thing that they have for booster products going forward. The headliner is what they're calling it. One card pulled from the set, given a super fancy over the top treatment, sometimes serialized, sometimes not.
Nice. It's the marketing point for the set.
Yep. The headliner is what they call it specifically. And Edgar is that for Innistrad Remastered. I hope this does well. I think this is going to be really neat.
Me too. I've been pretty let down by the remaster sets up to this point. Like Ravnica Remastered was pretty bad overall, and I think it was a very poorly received set as well. My hope is that they're not just catering this to be a good draft experience and letting a lot of the value and the cards that people are actually seeking just fall by the wayside on stuff like this.
Yeah,
but I mean, Edgar's dope. That's a great. I also do. I really want more people having Edgars. I don't know.
Maybe
have to play against Edgar more often.
Yeah, but I mean, at the very minimum, this should hopefully drop him below, like, I don't know. I foresee Edgar maybe going below 15. Maybe after this print,
20, he's 25, probably.
He's above 100 right now. That's unreasonable.
Purely because of supply. Yeah,
exactly. So
that's dope.
Good to see him on the decline. We're looking forward to seeing our Innistrad stuff. Let's talk about cars.
Let's do it. I'm excited about this set.
Aether Drift, the first standard release of the year from a Magic IP, February 14th. It comes out on Valentine's Day, actually.
Nice.
Take your date to draft.
Love Aether cars.
Drift. Teams of racers from across the multiverse compete in a multi-world spanning racetrack in pursuit of the grand prize, the Aether Spark. This set is going to be focusing across 3 main Magic worlds of showcasing where the actual racetrack comes through. The competitors can be pulled from anywhere, kind of like what they did with Thunder Junction. Like they could have people from everywhere participating in this. But the 3 main locations that the racetrack itself is going to be going across. Obviously, we kind of all figured this one. Kaladesh is going to be a big part of this as well because vehicles. And this whole set as a whole is going to be vehicle focused as well. So Kaladesh is one of those. Amonkhet appears to be one of them as well, which I was a little weirded out by the fact that it's like, okay, how does Amonkhet play into the idea of like these racers? But then it came to me as
racing,
like,
baby. Drive through the desert.
Pod racing Mad Max for one part as well. But from a lore perspective as well, like Amonkhet was completely ravaged away from all the effects that Nicol Bolas caused. Now it's a world of fiercely competitive combatants that now have no purpose in life.
Because it was all based on trials.
Yep, it was all based on the trials.
Kaladesh, the whole thing is about the Inventor's Fair.
So and now with the console, they didn't specifically name the last world that was part of it as well, but based on artwork and teasers that they mentioned on the stage panel as well, Chandalar is the highest suspect.
Surely this means that there's going to be a Sliver team. Right?
I don't think Slivers, but they mentioned, they didn't say Slivers, but they did mention dinosaurs.
On Chandalar?
Yeah,
I guess you're right. I want Slivers again. I don't want dinosaurs again.
Chandalar's never had a booster product before of it. This is why people are
where the core sets were set though, right?
Not some of the core set stuff, yes, but Chandalar is also where the video games took place, like the PC games. And Chandalar is a very like Conan primal world, you know? Right. It's like not like Unga Bunga cave people, but like primal, raw, like beast energy, you know what I mean?
Yes.
The deeps of the jungle and that kind of thing. So that's why I said like dinosaurs and primordial oozes and gigantic monsters and things like that.
Fun.
It looks to be it looks to be incredibly fun. We got a few early previews for this set as well. We have Duretti, the Rocketeer Engineer. Poor Duretti friend, he's lost his Planeswalker Spark.
Yeah, he has.
Big sucks,
and he's grown a sweet soul patch.
He has, yeah. He's 4 and a red for a star 5 legendary goblin artificer. He has power equal to the greatest mana value among artifacts you control. And when he enters or attacks, choose target artifact card in your graveyard. You may sacrifice an artifact. If you do, return the chosen card to the battlefield. Nope. It's a goblin welder.
Yeah,
goblin welder on a blink.
5 mana sort of goblin welder.
I guess, but I mean, he does it on attack as well, which is cool.
Yeah, and he can get huge.
Bright Glass Gear Hulk is another card they've shown as well. Green, white, 4/4 artifact construct. First strike, trample, and when it enters, you may search your library for up to 2 artifacts, creatures, and or enchantments with mana value 1 or less. Reveal them, put into your hand, then shuffle.
Nice. It's Ranger Vios.
Yep, Ranger Vios on a construct. Super cool. It's cool that you can get enchantments as well and artifacts, right?
Yeah,
that goes.
For sure.
Go grab Soul Ring. Go grab Skull Clamp.
Dope. Easy. I'm there.
And then there's no text on it here, but they showcased what the Aether Spark actually is. It's a.
Let me read this.
Go for it.
The Aether Spark. We don't have a mana cost yet. It is a legendary artifact planeswalker equipment. What?
Yeah. Fake. It's a build your own planeswalker thing. This is the grand prize that everyone is racing for in the actual competition itself.
Yeah.
Story wise, this is something that Chandra is playing a part in this competition for. She's trying to win the Aether Spark for Nissa, who is no longer a planeswalker.
Rip.
But we don't have any text on the card yet, but there's kind of this big open blank area that sort of seems like it's going to be the rules text on how this works as an equipment.
Yeah, it'll obviously have an equip cost.
And then it has an uptick, a downtick, and another downtick. Yep.
Interesting. All that I see is that it's an artifact planeswalker, and I can hear the Rendmaw making happy scarecrow sounds. That's all I care about.
Happy clicking noises. I love it.
Crows in the background.
I hope it's good. I hope it's really cool. I want it to be super neat. But as a whole, what do you think of Aether Drift, the race set?
It looks a little goofier than I was hoping for it to be. Like it's a bit more like Wreck-It Ralph than I had hoped.
Wacky races.
I wanted it to be a bit more Mad Max. But we'll see. I mean, we only have like 2 key arts right now. Yeah, it's a bit more like Mario Kart than it is anything else. It seems
you're a Mario Kart fan, so like
I hate Mario Kart. What are you talking? I love Mario Party.
Oh, okay. Well, I like Mario Kart.
Nice.
I'm a big fan of Mario Kart. All right. Well, let's get off the kart racing and into the Dragon Storm.
Nice, dude. Nice.
April 11th, 2025 is Tarkir Dragonstorm, the return of 3-color wedge gameplay as the clans reassemble themselves into modern times, aided by the power of the dragons.
Fetch lands, fetch lands, fetch lands.
You think they'll bring back fetches?
Dude, they have to. They brought back fetch lands every time they've gone back to Zendikar.
Right? No, not basically never. No, the last couple times on Zendikar have been...
Those fetch lands need a reprint so bad. They've not been reprinted realistically since this. Not in a standard set like this.
Not a standard set, but the Tarkir...
They don't want fetch lands in Pioneer.
No, they don't. And the Tarkir fetch lands were in Modern Horizons 3.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. At a standard price booster pack, they've not been reprinted. They've been in premium sets.
Whatever kind of lands they choose to go with here, we're back on Tarkir.
I'm calling it now. Special guest fetch lands.
You think so?
That way they can reprint them, but not have to inject them into formats they don't want them to. That's my hot take.
So what they've said about this set is that, it is the reestablishment of the clans. That's the 3-color wedges that was a part of the original set as well. The Mardu, the Sultai, the Jeskai, the Abzan, and the Temur.
Yep.
So them clans are, getting back their colors, but also still being aided by a combination of older dragons and new dragons being introduced into the world. The art styles of how these clans look and how they dress is also being updated. Think like what they did with Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, how they brought an old world up to modern times. That's what they're doing with Tarkir. Not like technology modern, but like...
Yeah, it'll look like present day Magic time.
It'll look like present day ancient, like, warring clans. Like, I guess maybe like... I don't really even have like a good idea as an example. Maybe like sort of like the art style, maybe like what like Ghost of Tsushima sort of looks like, sort of. It's like modern-y kind of frugal stuff or whatever. I don't know. I'm going off a limb right here, but basically the Tarkir this time, the clans will not look quite the same as they did 10 years ago.
Right.
No cards for this confirmed quite yet, other than some characters. We know that Sarkin and Ugin are both going to be a part of this set. Sarkin is going to be a legendary creature. Ugin is going to be a planeswalker.
Very dope.
And I'm big hype
get
for it.
Nicol Bolas back. If we're getting Ugin back and it's a set about dragons, I would be really surprised if we don't see Nicol Bolas, at least in some capacity. Especially coming straight from a set that features Amonkhet straight into Tarkir, where he is currently trapped.
Maybe, yeah, with a story kind of juggling around a fake spark, you know, he could try to get his spark back, but I don't know. I guess we're gonna have to see. But I think this is gonna be hype. I'm a big fan of Tarkir.
Tarkir was one of the first sets that you and I were kind of both in it together for, because it was right after Theros, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So like I got in Gatecrash. You got in around Theros or whatever the last set in the Theros block was. Mm-hmm. And we both were in for Tarkir.
Yeah, we both started playing
homecoming for both of us.
Dragons of Tarkir was one of the only, to this day, pre-releases I've ever gone undefeated.
Nice.
Yeah, I did Dramoka colors, green white, back to actually buy the Dragon Lord Dramoka. I did green white bolster, and I went undefeated that night.
Yeah, so good.
Fantastic. Tarkir is going to be very, very fun. We're a big fan of that one. Mm-hmm. After Tarkir, we move into the first Universes Beyond product of the year. June 13th is Magic the Gathering Final Fantasy.
Yep. I don't have a whole lot to add here. I've never played a Final Fantasy game.
Nope. I know very little about it.
On our Discord, there was a lot of excitement around it from people who have played.
Yes, and I mean,
so if you want to be excited about that, join our Discord and go hang out with the people who are excited about it.
Yeah, I do hope genuinely for the people who really do like Final Fantasy, I hope this does hit really, really well. Some quick things here. The first, though, like we had talked about previously as well, starting with this product going forward for any other Universes Beyond booster releases. This is not any standalone Universes Beyond Commander decks or Secret Layers. Booster releases only are the ones that are going to be standard legal. So gotcha. This is going to be the first one of that. Nice. This booster set is going to be showcasing characters, stories, events, locations, and items from the franchise's long-run history of games.
Fine. And they only have like 16 games to go off of.
And like as double that of spin-offs, you know?
Literally.
You know what I mean? Very interestingly, though, I thought this would be a fun fact for anybody who cares about this franchise as a whole. They stated in the promotional video about this product here that this booster set is going to be the largest collection of Final Fantasy artwork in any game ever.
Dope.
So for all of you for all you art enthusiasts about this kind of thing, you know, it's going to go over really, really well, I bet. I really think Final Fantasy fans are going to enjoy this one a lot. But myself personally, I've got no stakes in this, but
I'll tell you exactly what I know about Final Fantasy. There's a character named Cactar that I like a lot. And I only know about him because of Mario 3-on-3 basketball for the Nintendo DS.
do you know why those characters were there?
Nope.
It's because Square Enix published that game.
Whoa, so they just threw in Cactar and whatever the little Google thing is?
Yep.
Is it called a Google?
I don't know if it was a Google. Yeah, but the Cactar, the little white...
Yeah, with the ball on
bear
top of
little thingy.
God, and we are just disappointing every Final Fantasy.
I think there was a black mage in there too, or like a wizard. There was like a wizardy friend.
One of the little wizard guys.
Yeah, but
I like those two.
Yeah, so I hope this does well for everybody who enjoys Final Fantasy. You know, we'll see what kind of stuff comes out for it. Obviously, there'll probably be commander decks that I don't know. Are we going to end up talking about if it has commander decks? Will we cover it?
Yeah,
probably.
100%. That's what we do.
Well,
we're the pre-con channel.
Pretty much. Well, I have no stakes in this one.
Yeah, onward we go.
I've got stakes in this next one.
Dude, yes.
Boy, let me tell you about Edge of Eternities. I cannot tell it. All the way to space.
I just had to get that one out of my system, and then we're good.
Brilliant.
And there's the cold open.
August 1st, the Edge of Eternities, the space-themed science fantasy setting.
Yes, dude.
They did not delve too much into this because this is obviously too far out into 2025 to cover anything else in real specific as far as like cards or mechanics. But they essentially established this, that they said that this is outer space fantasy. It's going to have planets, spaceships,
it's literally sci-fi, science fiction fantasy.
Yes, but still all of the entities and stuff that we can find out here on these outer space worlds and planets and ships and people and things like that, still rooted within the identities of what the color pie says about, right? So like we're probably going to see stuff like white space soldiers and green like alien beast monsters and things of that nature.
40K really set this up well from a class standpoint, that like aliens are Timur, like that's just kind of what they are, and like the humans are green and white, and like I would expect to see a lot of that.
You know, as one of my favorite characters being Tezzeret, seeing him here on this galactic art with his new Darksteel body, and like he's the robot space conqueror, and like I'm so excited. I can't tell you, right?
Tezzeret is Darth Vader.
He is. He's going to be the Darth Vader of this set. No, I'm here for it. But like, I think this is going to be cool. I hope this is good.
You know I'm excited about this. Sci-fi is one of my favorite things. I have a lot of sci-fi tattoos. Like I'm bought in on sci-fi, on like space operas specifically. Love Star Wars, love Star Trek. Like all of them. 2001: A Space Odyssey is my favorite movie. Like this is speaking to everything that I'm into.
Nice. And I know especially of this as well. This is going to be a set that is going to have some of the most dynamic artwork of anything published this year.
If Unfinity was any indicator that they can do space art really well, this should be twice that.
Give me lands in the booster set that look like the stuff they did with Unfinity, please.
100%.
Give that to me. Bring back Galaxy Foil. Let's do it.
Yes,
I'm here for it. All right. And as we roll into the end of the year, we're moving into quarter 3, quarter 4 of 2025. Spider-Man!
You came prepared.
I came prepared for class.
I like that. Sorry for all the audio-only listeners. You don't get to experience that Jon sneaks Easter eggs into both his apparel and on screen for everything we're talking about. So clearly Jon is a little excited about Spider-Man.
You would think that, but again, I'm cautiously optimistic about what this set is, as you had described. You know, we're jamming all of the universes beyond into... Here's the way I look at it. You put universes beyond in standard, like that means we're not going to have anything that's as cracked as Lord of the Rings. You know what I mean? And that means even stuff you can find in the booster is going to have to be stabilized for standard, and that generally means bad commander cards.
Much like Hank Hill talking about Christian music, does this make Magic better, or does it just make Spider-Man worse? That's the real question for us to dive into.
I suppose so. But yeah, so Marvel's Spider-Man is the first of several booster sets that are going to be coming out for Marvel. Already has been confirmed earlier today, by the way, that the Unknown Universes Beyond product later this year is not another Marvel one. So
cool. I would not want 2 of them in a row.
Yeah, so the next Marvel one is some amount of time off. My guess would be 1 a year for maybe the next 3 years. That would be my guess. Like Marvel will be the early fall release every year going forward for the next couple of years. That would be my assumption. But this one in specific is going to be focusing around the character, the lore, and the sort of iconography of Marvel's greatest superhero, end quote. Yeah. Basically, Spider-Man in the Spider-Verse.
I mean, Spider-Man is more popular and more profitable than any other character in the MCU. I also think it's dope. Like, Spider-Man is kind of the OG multiverse with Marvel, at least with my limited understanding. I'm sure that somebody is going to actually me. It might even be you. But
no, not really.
It just makes sense. Like the Spider-Verse has always kind of been a thing. I'm sure we'll get to see a lot of the different Spider-Man. I really would like to see the Spider-Man Noir. That's what I would like to see.
Oh, it's like a spider hero detective or something like that. And you do like clues and then fling them or whatever.
That's what I'm stoked about. So I'm actually really stoked about this one. I love Spider-Man. Like he's just the best character.
Yeah, I'm again, I'm as a Marvel fan,
Yes.
I'm cautiously optimistic, you know? Like at time of recording, the Secret Lair Marvel stuff is on the way, coming very, very soon. Like I'm going to be buying some of that. I will probably see what comes out with this set, you know? If there's a cool enough commander deck, you know? Give me a what would I want from a commander deck? Give me
Dude, Kraven the Hunter, let's go, baby.
Oh, Kraven Bounty Hunter? Yeah, let's do that. Or just give me an obscure Spider-Man at the helm, you know? I mean, lots of other... I guess here's to be the thing as well. Spider-Man has had lots of continuity cross with other Marvel, like, groups and people of heroes. So while this is labeled as a Marvel Spider-Man set, that's not immediately locking it out of seeing other popular Marvel characters.
There's a good chance
we
see the Fantastic Four in this. There's a good chance that we see some of the other Avengers in this.
Yeah, again, if not in the booster set, maybe as like some special guests or as the commander releases or things like that. So
here's what I'll say. I'm really glad that they're leaning into the comic book side of Marvel and less about the movie side. I think the comic books are a lot richer than the movies are. And we're largely hearkening to a time where the fans were more important than profits. So I think if they were just like, here's all of the MCU as a set, I would be a little disappointed. But I love that they're just going straight Spider-Man, straight comics.
Exactly. Yeah, I think it's going to be very, very cool. And again, the point that they have established is that like Universes Beyond has become and has been some of the easiest jump in points for non-Magic fans. Tell somebody who is a big fan of Spider-Man. Heck, I was trying to think about this thoroughly as is. We don't have any hard concrete evidence to support this here, but this booster product could be lining up in release with the last Spider-Verse film. So the amount of fans who would be coming in off the conclusion of that trilogy into Magic, potentially.
Oh, definitely. If there's one thing that I know about Disney, who owns Marvel, it's that they don't do anything accidentally. Everything is planned out. So I think there's no way that they would allow their IP to be used by something like Wizards without full discretion on when they should and shouldn't do things. So I do think it'll line up with something.
Yeah, I agree with your thoughts that like the coincidental timing of these kind of things, like Marvel does have a pretty good tendency to sort of like line things up with other events going on, you know? This booster release could line up with that other Spider-Man movie. An Avengers one could line up when the MCU does their return back to actual Avengers films, you know? We've heard about things like Doomsday and Secret Wars and stuff like that. Totally. So when the Avengers ones comes out, the booster set comes out, it could be lined up in time with that. But yeah, if anything of these, again, we don't know what this last Universes Beyond one is, but like of these ones that they have shown off here, I imagine that this Marvel one is going to be a very easy jump in point for people who are fans of both.
For sure. Yeah, I love it, dude.
All right. And again, talking, like we just said as well, end of 2025 is a currently unannounced Universes Beyond product, a booster product as well. And that's the booster products for 2025. Essentially, their idea behind this here is that, these actual booster product releases, they are a 50-50 mix of Universes Beyond and Magic IPs blanketed over Foundations.
Right.
For standard, anyway. For standard purposes.
Clarify for me. These are all the standard releases? Are there also supplementary products coming out next year?
Unannounced.
Dude, this is so much product.
It seems like it, though. But like,
standard sets plus supplemental stuff is going to be crazy. We'll be nearing a set releasing every month.
It seems that way, yeah. Like, if you look at their tentative timeline that we have here, right here as well, like, Aether Drift on the 14th of February, and then Tarkir on the 11th of April.
Yes.
So
it's the month is going 2, 4, 6, 8. Spider-Man will probably be October, which would mean that the to be announced one will be more than likely December.
Yeah, so some unannounced supplementary stuff in between here, plus secret layer drops every other week as well. We didn't even talk about the meme. I don't want to. Everybody who wants to.
Okay. Explain to me why everyone is so upset about a SpongeBob secret layer. Why is this so upsetting to everybody?
Because
it seems to me like it fits.
I guess who's more magical than the sponge under the sea, I suppose.
How is this worse than when they did a Fortnite secret layer? Everyone was fine with Fortnite, but they're not cool with SpongeBob? What is
cartoon for kids? You know,
this is a game for children. We're playing a children's game.
All right, we said we weren't talking about it, but yeah, well, the point is that there's a lot of unannounced that is along this timeline right here. So I guess where my thoughts are as we kind of reach our wrap up here or whatever, I feel a little empty looking at this list, you know? It's like I've got Magic IP stuff really pumping my system into the year, but like the big one I want doesn't come until the fall next year.
They're giving us good, as long as they upkeep their own IPs at the same rate that they're injecting Universes Beyond into it, I'll be fine with it. If they ever slip up on one of their own IPs and like start to drift away from what it was originally supposed to be, or if the art becomes significantly different, that's when I'll start to get really upset. But I think they have an opportunity here to both maintain their own IPs at a level of excellence while also giving us something new.
Yeah, you briefly touched on it towards the beginning of the show when we were talking about this whole 50-50 split of Universes Beyond things. But for anybody who had previously watched our last year Futuresight thing, yes, you will notice that Return to Lorwyn has been delayed to Q1 of 2026.
And I'm annoyed.
Yeah. To be fair, though, when they told us about that, they did caveat that said anything into 2025 forward everything was tentative. They did say that up front. So, like, it's not like that they hard locked Lordwyn to 2025 and then did this. Does this suck that some unknown property took its place? A little. But
as long as they give me Star Wars, dude, that's my only request to Wizards is that with all of this new
you want Star Wars?
50-50, I want Star Wars so bad, dude. Give me Star Wars, give me Dune. I don't care. I want more sci-fi, and they're teasing me with the Edge of Eternities. I won't see what else they're doing to me.
What secret layer tie-in is going to come along with Edge of Eternity? Dude, Star Wars would be good.
Better be Star Wars or Dune.
Star Trek would probably fit, I imagine.
Yes. StarCraft. In 1998, I believe, Richard Garfield had designed a Star Trek set with the intention of partnering with Star Trek to do a Star Trek set. Like, this is the idea of Universes Beyond is not new for Magic. Like, they've always wanted to do this. So Universes Beyond and Space Opera is in fact Magic as Richard Garfield intended.
I just had a terrible idea on what the secret layer crossover could be with Edge of Eternities.
Hit me.
With how well the Monty Python thing sold. Spaceballs.
Spaceballs? Let's do it. I mean,
give me a Spaceball secret.
Goes to plaid on Optimus Prime.
Give me a Magic card that just says suck.
Yeah.
Suck.
All right. That feels like a good place to end the episode on. Thank y'all so much for watching, sticking this one out with us. Let us know in the comments down below what you're looking forward to, what you're maybe cautious about in the next year going forward. We'd love to hang out down there. Once again, join our Discord. You can get into the real discussion about the episodes, and we'll be in there and hanging out and ready to talk Spaceballs or Star Trek or whatever you want. John, any parting thoughts?
No, I mean, the upcoming year seems very interesting. We'll be curious to hear all of your thoughts and opinions about, like, what are you excited for looking into next year? How many Commander products are we going to end up having?
True.
What sort of crossover would you want to see? Let's you know what? Let's play a game out of it here. Anybody who does comment
of the day.
Comment of the day. Comment down what you think the unknown Universes Beyond at the end of the year is going to be. We'll double back to this episode when it is announced. Anybody who's right, I'll figure out a reward to give you. Hold me to that.
We will talk about you publicly. All right. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. This has been the MTG Thoughtcast. We'll see you soon.